Reading 141 from the Psychological Commentaries on the Teaching of Gurdjieff and Ouspensky by Dr. Maurice Nicoll, Volume 3. Great Animal House, October 16th, 1948. Evaluation. Work idea. The work says very many things about evaluation. For example, it says that the octave of inner development, and so change of level of one's being, begins with the note do, which is termed evaluation of the work. The note re is application of the ideas to oneself. The note mi is realization of personal difficulties. The work also says that its ultimate aim is to awaken the emotional center. Commentary. We can understand without great difficulty that evaluation is, at its root, emotional. To evaluate is to feel that something is important, valuable. To think a thing is valuable is quite different from feeling a thing is valuable. Theoretically, many things may be valuable, but they are not valuable to you unless you feel their value. To find this work, to sit and hear it, even to know a little about it, does not mean that you value it. In that case, the work cannot act on you. You do not swallow it, so it is not in you. There are many parables in the Gospels which refer to evaluation. For instance, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a treasure hidden in a field, which a man found and hid. And in his joy he goeth and selleth all that he hath, and buyeth that field. Matthew 13:44. Gurdjieff used to say, "What do you want?" This is almost like saying, "What do you evaluate?" One man may say riches, another may say health, and so on. Solomon, when asked this question by God, answered, "Understanding." Now, as material for self-observation, ask yourself, what do I evaluate? It is very interesting to observe oneself from this angle. If you are sincere with yourself, the answer will possibly amaze you. But this kind of self-observation is very difficult and requires very great inner sincerity and need. That is, evaluation. One must, in short, really want to know oneself more. Most people do not evaluate self-knowledge, not understanding that when you know something fully in yourself, you are separated from it. Why? Because it becomes objective to you as something seen internally, and so cannot work unconsciously in you, as when you identify with it so that it makes you ill, moody, and so on, in repeating cycles without your seeing why. Self-observation is to make things in yourself more and more conscious to you, so that you can say, "This is not I." Otherwise, you are glued to them and under their power, that is, identify with what is not you. They then act on you unconsciously, often in terrible and morbid ways. But you remain unconscious of them, taking it all as I. So you are not conscious of them. But without evaluation, you cannot observe yourself. You do not think it worthwhile. Yes, self-observation can become tedious unless you see why you have to observe yourself in order to change your being. Now, whatever you do, observe uncritically and accept inwardly, makes room for some more hidden factor, good or bad, to begin to emerge into the light. The light is consciousness. Ouspensky once said, "We work in the dark at first, and self-observation is to let a ray of light in." He said that all the internal machinery of our centers is comparable to a vast factory, lit by 1 or 2 candles. That is, we do not see mechanical associations and connections, or how one thing depends on something else, such as wrong attitudes, or what is wrongly linked up, or where leaks of energy occur, and so on. If we observe, if we work, he said, after a time we get a few more candles lit and begin to see where some things are obviously wrong. That is called seeing wrong work of centers. Such as, for example, that we begin to notice, to observe, that we always use the wrong machine, say, the emotional center, for certain problems in life which demand the use of the machine called intellectual center. But as I said, if people have no evaluation of self-observation, if they do not see that it is of any value to them, they will continue to blunder through life, making the same mistakes and getting into the same difficulties. How long a time does it not take to realize that one's level of being attracts one's life and its incidents? People try this and try that outward thing, believing everything will now be different, but the same situation will develop, maybe with different people or in another country, but just the same as before. Why? Because they do not evaluate the idea of self-change and do not realize that the trouble lies in themselves. Self-observation is to bring about self-change. It is a method of change of being, because it begins to make you conscious where you were not conscious, and consciousness, which is light, frees you. In the words of Paul, all things when they are admitted are made manifest by the light. For everything that is made manifest is light. Wherefore he saith, Awake thou that sleepest, and arise from the dead, and Christ shall shine upon thee. Ephesians 5:13 and 14. Your being cannot change if you do not become more conscious of it. How could it? Your level of being and your level of consciousness are closely connected. If through self-observation you become more conscious of your being and what is in it, then your being will alter even a little, and you will no longer attract just the same situations and difficulties, failures, etc., which hitherto your being has always attracted. But you must evaluate this, evaluate these ideas of the teaching, and make them more valuable than at least some other things that at present you evaluate most, probably without noticing it. There is only a certain amount of room in us. Things are weighed and measured. You cannot evaluate everything equally. We have to select what is valuable. This is a very strange process, this selection. The most real, the inner part of you, may have already selected. But the external, artificial part does not agree yet, and so you may have to lead a double life for a long period, not unconsciously, but consciously, being aware of this inner contradiction. In connection with this, one can certainly see that the evaluations dear to false personality, which belong to the external side of us, are not likely to be the same as those of the more genuine and real inner side. I speak to those who have begun to notice the effect of false personality on their inner side.